next door neighbors to then transitioned over to a client of yours. All of the above. Here I am 20 years later with the one and only Veronica Rodriguez, local Yuma celebrity, business owner, bodybuilder, and just basically a badass.
I do figure, but there's also bikini tone, and then there's bikini wellness, and then figure, and then a physique. Like me, when I first started, I had already been working out, so it was a little easier for me.
Okay. Do you feel you're addicted to working out and competing, or just working out?
No, I'm addicted to working out and competing, I think, because it's the discipline. It's knowing that you have to look good by a certain time. So for me, it's both. I have to rearrange my schedule at the gym so I can be here on time. So I find time is very challenging for me.
I'm here today with Veronica Rodriguez, owner of Diva Salon, hair salon. And so Veronica has been my hairstylist for what, like 20 years?
Yes.
Oh my God. So yeah, without giving my age, I know. 20 years. So, but yeah, we started off as neighbors, right?
Right.
And next door neighbors, and then transitioned over to a client of yours and friend and all of the above. So here I am 20 years later with the one and only Veronica Rodriguez, local Yuma celebrity and a bodybuilder, business owner, bodybuilder, and just basically a badass. So Veronica, so I'm getting my hairstyle today, and every once in a while I come and spoil myself, treat myself to a little blowout. So thanks for joining me today and coming in on our day off. So
you're welcome.
last time I was here, you were getting ready to, or starting to prep you were training for competition.
Yes.
So how long have you been competing?
I've actually been competing for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a bodybuilder, right?
Right.
So how many different, okay, so this is what throws me off because I'm not a bodybuilder, but what different types of competition is there, or are there?
So there's a lot of different categories. I do figure, but there's also a new category that is called bikini tone, and then there's bikini wellness, and then figure, and then a physique.
What's the difference between, what are the top three?
So the difference is basically muscle and size.
Oh.
That's what it is, yeah.
Okay.
So the new one is just toned, and then bikini have a little bit of muscle, and then figures have more, and then of course physique has the most.
Okay, got it. So how, is there different types, or like how long, let's say I wanna get into bodybuilding and wanna compete. How long, I mean, provided that I stay disciplined, I maintain discipline and, correct, eating habits and daily workouts, how long on average does it take someone from start to being in competition mode?
Well, it actually depends on the body, how it responds to the diet, to the training. You have to have a coach. It's very important so they can guide you. So it could be anywhere from a year or more, just depending. Like me, when I first started, I had already been working out, so it was a little easier for me.
Okay. So you basically just went from working out and got into basically competition mode.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you've been doing this for 20 years?
Yes, so I've been doing it off and on. When I had my daughter, she was 2 years old, and I wanted to do something challenging, and so I competed. Then after that, I took some time off. Mm-hmm. But I kept training. I always keep training.
Got it. Okay, so because you just want to remain consistent.
Yes.
Do you feel you're addicted to working out and competing, or just working out?
No, I'm addicted to working out and competing, I think, because it's the discipline. It's knowing that you have to look good by a certain time. So for me, it's both.
So the challenge of, meeting a certain goal by a certain time.
Yes.
So, and that's basically what keeps you going, right? Like that drives you, that motivates you. So do you feel like you have the same motivation and drive in, you know, when it comes to owning a business and keeping your salon, you know, running and, you know, basically like growing your business? Is that the same type of drive and motivation?
Yes, it is. And that's what makes it hard to compete. So my last time on stage was in 2020. So I've taken some time off to get the business where I wanted it to go. And now I want to compete. And will it be my last time? I always say yes, but you never know.
You've been saying that for years, Veronica.
Yes, I know.
I come in, I'm competing, I'm training. It's gonna be the last time. No, it never is. It never is.
Well, I hope not, because it's like I said, I love the challenge.
Yeah. And I feel like you are truly, this is you.
Yeah.
I can't see you doing anything else other than running a very successful business and being on stage competing. So that's awesome. So what do you feel is the challenge when it comes to running a successful business and also taking on the challenge of training for competition? Like what are your biggest challenges in doing both?
My biggest challenge is like trying to fit all my clients in and get my workout in, because I like to do it first thing in the morning. But sometimes you get those clients that need to come in the morning. So then I have to rearrange my schedule at the gym so I can be there on time. So I find time is very challenging for me.
Well, yeah, because time is definitely valuable.
Yes.
And I feel like it's hard to also say no to a client, right? Like you can't, when you're self-employed, or you know, when it's difficult to say no to a client. And
yes, it is.
I completely get it. There's times where I have been, you know, showing homes until 9, 10 o'clock at night, or even writing offers at that hour because I just can't, you know, I never want to say no to a client. Of course, I never want to turn down business.
Right.
So yeah, it's challenging. It's definitely challenging. How many employees do you have right now?
Right now, it's just me and one of the other girls doing skincare. Well, actually, 2 girls doing skincare. Since summer's a little slower, I haven't really hired, but I do plan to hire for the winter.
So, of course, winters you're busy, right?
Right.
And you're open 6 days a week.
I'm open Monday through Tuesday. Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh, Tuesday through Saturday.
And then in the winter, I'm open almost every day.
And I'm sure you have clients every single day.
Yes.
So, sorry, I just spaced it. But so what do you feel? Okay, so what kind of treatments, or what's your most popular? What do people come in to get the most?
I think my balayaging, highlighting, it seems to be like the most. And then now I've gotten into extensions, so it's slowly growing. I love it. I love doing extensions. And then I also love doing the Brazilian blowout.
Okay. So what exactly is a Brazilian blowout?
It's a smoothing treatment. It can be, some people call it a keratin treatment, but it's a hair smoothing treatment. It smooths out the hair, gives it lots of shine and bounce. And it doesn't necessarily take all your curls away. But I do 2 different treatments, and one does take most of the curl away.
And how long do you normally, or how long does a Brazilian blowout last, or how long are these treatments good for?
They are good up to like 18 weeks, sometimes longer. It just depends on how you take care of it when you at your home.
Okay. And just, you know, you don't have to get like you don't have to have certain hair type. You could just, anyone can come in and get a Brazilian blowout? Yes,
Brazilian blowout is basically for anybody that wants to get rid of like their frizz or a little bit of their curl, like relax it. That's what it's for.
Okay. So that's one of your most popular treatments or requests?
Yes.
Okay. Do you enjoy, or what got you into hair, basically, or like what got you into being a hairstylist?
So as a teenager, I used to love playing around with hair. And then when I got out of high school, I kept saying I wanted to go to business school.
Oh.
And my mother was the one that told me you should go to beauty school. So I told her, I'll go to beauty school first and then I'll go to college. I stuck to beauty school.
Well, I mean, and I'm glad because I love the way you style my hair.
Oh,
so.
thank you.
Yeah, no, awesome. And did you always own a business or?
No, I started working at a salon. So I worked in 3 different salons before I got mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And what made you decide to open up your own business?
At the time that I was working, we barely started to rent stations, and when we rented a station, they weren't very fair to us, like as far as taking walk-ins or helping us build our clientele. So then I decided I'm going to open a salon and I'm going to have commission and rental, and I'm going to let them all be treated the same.
Okay. So what is your business motto? Like, what is it that you are that really gets? We all have a way of doing business, right?
Right.
What is one thing that you really instill in your employees to provide, keep a successful business running and have happy clients?
One thing is I always tell my girls to leave any personal stuff outside the door because you are here to actually pamper the client. You're not here for you. And then second of all, I love for them to take classes, and I require that they take at least 1 class a year. I take 2 a year.
Okay. So basically, go and better, self-improvement,
Yes.
Okay. And grow professionally, basically.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I appreciate about business owners who want to. To me, that's the quality of a good leader, because you want your people to grow professionally, personally, and I like to encourage my team. I like to encourage just anyone around me who says, oh, well, I want to get into real estate. They become real estate agents, and what helps you become successful or helps you grow. It's always bettering ourselves, continuing to grow professionally, but we have to seek that out ourselves as well. So you have to be driven and motivated when it comes to owning a business, because no one's going to do it for you.
Nope.
If you're not here grinding, Tuesday through Saturday, who's going to run the salon for you?
Right. Nobody.
Exactly. It's like, right? It's like, if I'm not out there helping people buy and sell homes, no one's going to do it for me. At least not now. So,
right.
It's just like that, like with, competition too.
Yeah.
You got to push yourself, and I feel like there's different ways of growing, and every profession has different things that you have to do.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, you're a great leader because you run a successful business and still have time for yourself. Yeah. So I think time management is very important too.
Yes, it is.
And I think you have to be very disciplined when it comes to time management too, which is something that I struggle with. But I have to discipline myself. So, but no. Well, you've definitely done a great job because you have, like I said, maintained this salon running for almost 20 years, I guess. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you were first. Did you first open over by the old Mervin's?
Yes.
Is that was the first location? Oh my God!
Yeah, that was my first location.
Oh wow!
At the Mervin's.
Most people watching this podcast probably don't even know about Mervin's.
Exactly, right? Because it's grown so much in Yuma.
yeah, and Mervin's is long gone. So, but yeah, I remember that. So, so of course, I have to talk about your I want to talk about real estate, right? So,
Right.
because we always talk about it.
Right.
There's always something, about real estate in our conversations. How many homes have you purchased throughout your life?
So I've actually purchased 4, well 5 with the one I have right now. But I actually have purchased 5 homes.
Okay. And where was the first one?
Mesa del Sol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The golf course. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. And what are and how long ago was that?
Oh my God. So that was like in 93.
Okay. So go back to 93 and go back to, when was the last time you purchased a house?
So the last time,
That was like,
well, just the current one I've got 2 years ago.
yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So what has changed from when you first bought a house in 93 versus 2 years ago?
A lot has changed. When you buy a home now, I feel like they want your blood type. Back in those days, it was just like you would have good credit, you'd put a certain percentage, like a 3% down, and that was it. And you could get the house. And I was purchasing at that time every 2 or 3 years because we were renting them out at that time. We were renting the house out, and it was easy to do that. I don't think now it would be easy.
Right. Yeah, well, and especially with prices being the way they are, and it's definitely much more difficult. Not much more, but it's more difficult to purchase a home now.
Right.
But there's different ways. Of course, there's different ways, and if you purchase, I feel like you've grown through the equity, or your equity has grown, so that's allowed you to basically upgrade to your next home. Where do you bought in Cielo Verde?
Yes.
Okay, and you bought 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Okay, and so
actually 2 years ago this month, I moved in June 9th.
Oh, nice.
I just thought of that.
Isn't June 9th today, or?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so today
happy
would have been
2-year anniversary.
I know, right? Thanks.
Yeah, time flies.
Yes, it does.
And that area alone, crazy how much it's grown.
I know.
In 1 year. What were the challenges? So you bought new construction, right?
Right.
Was this your first new construction build, or your new build?
No, it wasn't, but it was my first that I actually was gonna live in it. Before, it was like we purchased just to rent them out.
Oh, so you definitely put a lot more.
Yeah, so this was, I wanted to put a lot more thought into it.
And what were the difference between, the difference between buying back then and actually going through the whole, the new construction phase, what was something that you found as a challenge when having a home built for you to live in?
Okay, so I went into a subdivision, and I think I found it challenging that I couldn't change certain things that I wanted to change because I didn't like it, or for example, if I wanted to bring in my own tub because I didn't want like the tub they had, they didn't let me do that.
Oh, so you were limited to certain.
Yes.
There were options, or your options were limited.
Yes, they were very limited, and I didn't know that that was the way it was going to be, but I wanted to make that purchase because it was when it was so hard to find a house.
Yeah, you bought when the market was hot, basically.
Yes.
Got it. So, I mean, you were able to. So your home was it was semi-custom though, right? Like you got to pick some certain.
Yes.
features?
So I did get to pick some certain things, and I did upgrade some of the stuff I didn't like the tiling or like the counters in the kitchen. But and I got white cabinet, which I had to pay extra for because they weren't making white cabinets at the time. So it wasn't part of the, the pick, the choice. So I had to pay extra for that. But there's still things I would have done differently.
Now, what is one? So of course, my job is to help buyers like you. I guess explain the process to them when it comes to new construction, because I work with clients all the time, who are building homes or want a home built. And it's important to be thorough and detailed and explain to them what they can and cannot do, along with the model home agent. And but what, as me bringing in a client to a model home and us starting the process, helping them, what is it that you would recommend I do for you as your agent? Like, what is one thing that that I could do to better that experience for you?
I think that, sometimes we think, oh, we're going to go into the subdivision and it's just going to be so much easier, and then or it's going to be cheaper. And at the end, it really isn't. Like, you could probably look into getting a custom home, versus you buying in a subdivision. And
Right.
I think I should have looked a little bit more, but the reason I didn't was because I wanted to get that 3% interest and interest was starting to go up. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah. So you would have taken a little more time if
Yes.
to shop around.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Looked at more options and really see what my options were, because this is my forever home. And I don't want to buy again. And the only reason is because, again, the interest rate was so good.
Right. Well, and I mean, there's of course, a lot of people have a very, very low interest rate. So I feel like, a lot of people also think, well, I don't want to lose that rate, right? But keep in mind, you also bought and you bought back then, and now you're sitting on a lot of equity. So especially because you bought new, right?
Right.
New construction tends to build faster equity, or you build equity faster with new construction. So you're sitting on a low interest rate right now. You have a low interest rate. You're sitting on a lot of equity. Let's just say, based off what the type of home that you bought, and based off what you've told me, you're probably sitting on, I would say, a couple $100,000 in equity, right?
Probably.
So, yeah. And I'm those numbers are very, very close. Now, keep in mind, you have that 3%, but you're sitting on $200,000. Now, my recommendation is, let's say, for example, you say, you know what, this is not my forever home, right? Like, this is not what I thought would, it's not. I want something else, something different. A lot of people, what they're doing, because they're afraid to lose that interest rate, they're not going to refinance, they're afraid to lose that interest rate, but they don't know whether or not they want to stay in this home, but they're sitting on a lot of equity. Another thing you can do is perhaps take a home equity line of credit, pull a HELOC, home equity line of credit. You're not touching your loan at all. You keep your 3%. You're basically using your house as a credit card. At whatever interest rate your lender gives you. It could be 8%, it could be 9%, but it's definitely much cheaper than putting, actually opening up a credit card and getting that 20% interest rate, right? So what you do is you say, Erica, I want to keep this house, I want to rent it out, but I want to buy another house. You cash out however much you're going to cash out to use as a down payment on your next house. So, if you want to buy an investment property, or if you want to get that tub that you wanted originally, pull from that equity, because that's basically what equity is extra cash. You use it as, your home is your savings account. So you pull the equity from it, you do home improvements, or you go buy an investment property at 8% versus, the 20% that you would have bought that tub, 20% on a credit card to buy a tub. Right. It doesn't make sense, right? So, or you want to get a pool, you want to, that's what your equity is there for. Or, it's always there also for an emergency or, a rainy day. But yeah, people don't know that they're sitting on a lot of equity, but they want to move. They just don't know how to do it, or they want to buy an investment property. Right. Pull a HELOC and use that to your advantage. It's a line of credit. And again, you keep that 3% interest rate, so you don't lose it. But there's different ways that you could do that. but other than that, you know, you are, again, you're sitting on $200,000 in equity. Let's say, you know, you're afraid things happen, right? You know, people have to move, they have to relocate, they get married, they get divorced. So regardless, some people have no other choice than to sell their home.
Right.
But taking into consideration how much of a down payment you're going to have, those are, it really, you know, they're saying, oh, well, I'm afraid to have a high mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Well, but in reality, your mortgage payment isn't going to be as high as you think it is if you're coming in with a substantial amount of money, which is a large down payment.
Right.
Because let's say, for example, you buy a $400,000 house. You sold your house that you own, that you live in right now. You bought it for $200,000, let's say. And you're sitting on $200,000 in equity because your house is now worth $400,000. So you sell your house, you put $200,000 down on a $400,000 house. You're financing $200,000. You're not financing $400,000. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because, you know, you may get a 6% interest rate today, but it doesn't really matter to a certain extent or to a certain degree because you're putting such a large down payment. So that takes down the loan amount.
Yeah.
So it's like buying a car. You know, if you want to put money down, it's going to drop your monthly payment.
Right.
And the amount that you finance. It's the same thing with houses. You know, it's just a lot of people don't realize, you know, yeah, they may have a 4 or 5% interest rate, but they also have $100,000-$200,000 that they're sitting on.
Right.
So, you know, that, like I said, you know, it's for people who want to, you know, who have outgrown their home or want to downsize or want to upgrade.
Or want a bigger closet.
Or want a bigger closet. Because you've told me before that you wish your closet was bigger.
Yes, I wish it was like twice the size.
Or you can just get a room and turn it. Well, didn't you say that you were thinking about turning a room into a closet?
Well, I have it's a 3-bedroom. I don't use one of the bedrooms, but I don't know that, because then I feel like, is it going to lose the value of my house?
Well, I mean, because in all reality, you're taking that room and turning it into a closet.
Yeah.
But it's an easy conversion. You know, whenever you do decide to sell, if you do decide to sell, you can always turn it back into a bedroom.
Oh, I never thought of it that way, but that's true, huh?
Because all you're doing is you're adding closet organization to one bedroom.
Right.
So it may not work if you have guests over or whatever the case may be, but that's what air mattresses and Murphy beds are for.
Right.
Just throw them in the living room but that would be a dream. Imagine having a room that's an actual closet converted into a closet.
That would be a dream for me.
Yeah, I know. The lighting, the cabinetry, the island. I've always wanted a closet island. I don't have one.
Me too. I don't have one either.
Yeah, it's nice having a kitchen island, but a closet island would probably be, I would never leave that closet.
Right.
So, yeah. So, but in terms of, in terms of real estate, when it comes to real estate, I feel like it's always going to be a different process. Every home, every transaction is going to be different. Right. So, it's important to obviously interview your agents and know who you're hiring to help you. Yeah. Because you want the best experience possible.
Right. You want to make the best choices financially too. You want more for your buck too.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's definitely important to know who you're hiring, and making sure that you get the best person on your team.
Right.
So, and of course, lenders, you want to shop around for the best rate, because a lot of people don't know that they can actually shop for a lender, and different lenders offer different prices or pricing. They offer, they have different incentives when it comes to, they have different loan options basically. Okay. So yeah, so one lender can provide, a certain option for you, a certain package, and another lender could provide something or offer something different.
Right.
So Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of options when it comes to real estate. You just have to know those options or what's available to you.
Right.
So, and I feel like a lot of, especially first-time home buyers, they don't know that they have options.
Right, they don't.
So, I mean, if I knew, you know, if I knew back then what I know now, I would have done a lot of things differently when it comes to buying homes, but
Me too.
Like I said, it's a learning experience every
Yeah.
single time. And you're gonna learn something new every purchase. But I'm excited for you to, for your competition, August, right?
Right.
So tell me about your competition.
I'm going to go to a national level show, and I'm going to do it in August 27th. It'll be in Pittsburgh. I'm still chasing that pro card, so I'm gonna cross my fingers that I get it this August.
Nice. That's a big deal, right?
Yes, it is.
So.
For me, it's a big deal because I have been wanting it. And like I said, in 2020, I stepped on a national stage. I didn't get first, and you need to get first. I got second. So this is going to be my second chance to get it. And like I said, I hope I do, because if I do, it will be my last time on stage for sure.
Oh, that gave me chills. So what did you feel when you were on stage at a national level?
Very nervous, but excited at the same time. But I think every show I've done, I've always gotten nervous. It doesn't matter how many times I go on stage, I always get nervous. But it was exciting to be there because you're with girls that are like been in it for a long time, and they're very they're big and they're very dedicated just like you. So you're in for some tough competition.
Wow. Oh, I can imagine, like just all the hard work that you put towards it. You know, I think it all reflects, obviously,
right,
you know, on stage. But yeah, no. Well, I madly respect you for having that discipline. It's definitely dedication and a lot of discipline, right?
Right.
Well, so this is the final. I love it. So of course, you know, this is why I come to Veronica, because she is the best. So thank you so much. Now, I always ask a question at the end of every podcast. I always ask my guests, what is one food that you miss the most while training to compete?
Oh my God. I honestly think hamburgers. I was never a big hamburger girl, but when you become a competitor, that's like the cheat that they give you, and then you I don't know, you learn to like it. Because the first time I tried In-N-Out was when my coach said, you get a cheat meal, and I said, where do I go? And he goes, In-N-Out, and I'm like, what? So I was super excited to go. So yes, a hamburger with French fries and ketchup, because ketchup was something new to me too. When I competed and I went to have an In-N-Out burger, I tried ketchup for the first time too. And I don't know, I fell in love with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I love my blowout, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Veronica. And so follow Veronica. She's at Divas Hair Salon on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So yeah, no, thank you, Veronica, and see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.